people who genuinely struggle with like serious trauma, you know, like they don't look like this person, you know, they really don't at all, you know, and you can never really tell what somebody's going through just by looking at them, but they don't really act like this either. You know what I mean? In fact, I'd say some people just don't even really talk, you know, some people don't know they're more reserved, in fact. And they get made fun of for their appearance and their hygiene, because they're fucked, and in their mind they're totally fucked. And they live every day in stress pretty much. But then you got people like this who are rich and fortunate, maybe not rich but still very fortunate, and they just get tons of love and support. But then you got people who are genuinely mentally struggling, and you know what they get? They get made fun of, and they get called ugly and gross and incel and freak, and the list goes on. You know, um, I went to high school, as everybody has. And let me just tell you, I was not, you know, people's favorite person. In fact, I feel like I actually made people pretty damn uncomfortable. And, you know, then you got the dumb, self diagnosed bitch over here, and everybody's praising her. And it's just great because, you realize nobody's worthy of your respect, you know? Nobody's worthy of your respect, because for people who respect people like that, it's not worth trying to gain it, It's not worth trying to gain respect from people who support narcissistic, attention seeking losers, okay? You know, but we live in a world where, people who are genuinely struggling get made fun of and laughed at. And, their entire existence is basically just made into a big fat joke. And people who are just narcissistic pieces of shit, they get support and love and praise. So just keep in mind what part you're playing in this situation here, Just keep in mind who the fuck you are. Because, now you know. You're a fucking asshole.